evening, everyone. Welcome to the first edition of UpStart in Kolkata. I'm Mansa, I'm your host for the evening. First of all, a warm welcome here and thank you so much for coming today. So, PayU is hosting this, yes, and as you all know, PayU is one of the leading payment service providers in India. We are across sectors like airlines, SMBs, and of course the startup community. So this is one of our startup outreach programs that we do. This happens every weekend. So we have two series, that is UpStart and CodeUp. So UpStart is where startup entrepreneurs come and talk to the audience. And we have another series that is CodeUp, that's a developer-centric topic. So today, in today's topic, the topic itself is starting up, right? So we have founders, we have people that always are. So there's different things that happen. So when you're starting up, there's experiences you want to learn from, others' experiences. There are challenges that they face, and there is always a learning that you can take back from this session. And that is why we have three great speakers with us today. Our first speaker of the evening is Saahil Wadhwa. He's the founder and director at eChai. And our second speaker for the evening is Balasubramanian. So he's the director at Kolkata. And our last speaker for the evening is Raj Lakhotia. He's the founder of Will and a CA by profession. So opening the session up to the speakers, and if you all have any questions, you can definitely ask them at the end of their session. So over to Saahil.
Thank you, Mansa. Evening, everyone. Do I really need this? Am I audible enough? Yes.
I think that might not be
Sure.
the camera.
Alright, I don't have a choice. So, a lot of you here are my peers, and maybe some are been clients, prospective clients, and a lot of associates I've known for a long time. And just like to wish. So how many of you know what co-working spaces are? I see a few show of hands. And how many of you have heard about eChai? The same show of hands as well, alright. So for the rest, majority who haven't, we are out and out co-working space provider. We are ourselves a startup. We started out 2.5 years ago, and we were the first at the time to start out with co-working in Kolkata. A concept which is very big abroad, as well as other parts of India where startup cultures are well established. But in Calcutta, there was nothing of the sort, where startups, freelancers, entrepreneurs, or anybody and everybody with an idea could get encouraged to implement. Today's theme is starting up right. So that's where our concept fits in very well. Notably because when you're starting out, what's the first thing on your mind? Don't you want to limit the damage that you may cause? The first thing would come to mind that I don't want to burn a big hole in the pocket. I may succeed, that would be a very good beginning. I may fail, that would be the worst, right? That's where we step in. As co-working spaces, everybody needs the basic infra, which is to enable them to effectively implement any idea they may have. Internet connection, a very good speed one, and an infrastructure which lets you enable you to compete to do what you have to do best. But I saw that was lacking in the city, and that's how the concept came to me. A couple of anecdotes on how it did come to me also was that I myself was working on something, and while trying to execute that, I used coffee shops as well. I used my own warehouse, where there was a whole carton of goods which fell on me while working as well. So there were a lot of challenges doing that. You can't work comfortably and you can't procrastinate freely if you're not at ease, if you're not comfortable, if you aren't fully set up. So that's what we set out to do when we started eChai. We opened our first hub at Salt Lake, stepping stone from here at Sector 2. And my only aim was that anyone who wants to start out should not get discouraged after the first attempt, even if they fail. And encouraged by a response from a time when we had to explain co-working before marketing the services to prospective clients. We've come today to a market where we ourselves are running 3 centers. We're covering the majority of the city with our 3 outlets, which is Salt Lake, Raj Bihari, and Park Street. and there are other players now as well. So that's a sign that the market is growing, people are accepting the change, and people are receptive to the change that's happening around them. And not to mention that they're noticing the benefits of the same. So just to quickly browse through what our USP points are. So we are the first co-working venture in Kolkata. We are a startup, so we understand how startups function. We understand the accommodation for startups, the challenges faced by startups precisely, and at what time they may crop up. So we've got conveniences sorted out for them. First, to cover all business areas, as I told you, the earliest movers, a network which is 100 plus companies through our three outlets. So what happens is that you may require social media management, app development. You may require web development. You may have a need for HR, recruitment. There's not a single company in your regular setting up need that is not available within the brand. So once again, if you leverage that, while sitting, increasing your working hours, you can get access to all of those contacts at your fingertips. So that's one of the biggest benefits of co-working spaces. Um, Focus on organic growth. Now we're talking about starting up, right? So as I said, the first thing would be that you should expect the worst, but hedge your risks. Everyone will tell you, but this is how we strive to do that. That even if you take, say, one seat with us, I'm giving a very small example centric to Easy Daftar, of course. Say you're a startup and you take a seat with us. It would set you back by maybe your student's allowance, say 3,500, 4,000 rupees a month. God forbid not, but 8 months down the line, you lose your venture or it doesn't click. Your damage at that time would be what you have expended on, say, basic machinery, your team, as well as basic implementation like website, etc. In terms of infrastructure, you don't have money blocked up. You don't have to compulsorily use out the whole year. You're not subject to any sort of lengthy deposits, and you get to retain your rights as an individual and a startup. So the hole that we're talking about to burning in your pocket is very, very marginalized in that case. So it does not discourage you from starting out again. Usually what happens is then that you start seeking other options which are safer. So you don't try to venture out once again. So we try to encourage people that take your step, get encouraged to do that. Even if you do fail, you got part of your packs. The rest, of course, comes down to business prudence and how you trim your losses or you hedge your risk. Choosing the type of entity, I think, would be very important. When I started out, we were also faced with a similar thing. And I think the first rationale that comes to mind is start off with a private limited. But incorporating the same has the very first challenge of compliance. At that stage, I don't think so. You're exceptionally ready to handle all compliances. You don't have the funds to handle all compliances, and you may not necessarily see the revenue to handle all compliances. So what I did was that we started out with a LLP, which is a new form of compliance, new form of registering an entity. You retain all your benefits of a partnership, whereas getting recognition and benefits of a company format. So I think that's one of the most in-demand concepts right now. The other forms, of course, the evergreen partnership and proprietorship never go out of tune simply because it is limited to what you are and however much you want to expand it to. The moment you see that you've got your cash flow generated and you've reached a point where you are able to register your company, go ahead and do that. But at the same time, even if you do fail, you don't spend so much in terms of compliance for the whole year. Just a small anecdote there. My LLP got incorporated on 31st March. It was done by an online company. I wouldn't like to name them, but for one day alone, I had to file compliances for the full previous year, whereas I hadn't done even an iota of business in the full year previously. So that is why think of it very carefully what entity you want to register, and then go ahead with that. The next would be, I think, pacing the speed of your startup. You start off and you think it's easy in the flow to go on and on about you have 10 ideas in your mind to implement. So it's easy to lose track of time and speed and just keep on and on going. But there was one habit which I came across, a very basic one, and we tend to overlook it. I maintain a log of what I did in my first year. I revisit that once every year. Simply because that was the time when I didn't have any customers. And today is the time when I do. So I must have done something right out of that to be able to get customers today. So I try to revisit that just to know that what is it that I worked on, what worked, what were the modes that did not work, and what worked right. Use what worked right to evolutionize it, change it up every now and then, and keep using that till you have your desired stability in your startup. Starting up is a very responsible thing. So I think you should be expecting yourself to do the unexpected. Simply because the more that you try to get yourself to do the unexpected, the more you're going to punch above your weight. I'll give one example. There was a time when we started off with local teams, and our hospitality boys were locally sourced from nearby areas, of course. But at the same time, there was a trade-off in quality that was very evident. Simply because they didn't come trained, each and every hospitality boy was duly trained by myself. And there were days when they were on leave and there was no one to fill in or no substitute to take up their role. There have been days when in full working days, I've not been scared to take up a mop and mop the floor if something's on the floor in my center in full view of clients. Now, I never expected myself to do that. I was very pleasantly surprised at my own self. So that's why I say that if you expect yourself to do the unexpected, you'll be able to punch above your weight. Because you know that backs against the wall, you have to come up with something to defeat the odds. So that motivation will drive you on. But more you expect yourself to do something you otherwise would not, will ensure that you're always staying ahead of what is required of you. Coming back to Easy Daftar, just a few more benefits of these and just keeping up with how we scaled up, which would be relevant. I can only talk about my story. There are some very more established entrepreneurs as well. In my 2.5 year journey, I can talk about what we've done and what we've tried to do right. One thing we've consistently done is not hiked up our prices much. There's been a slight increase because in terms of GST, cost escalations, etc. But we still proudly cater to prices and which are a sub 4,500 to 5,000 segment. The whole agenda is that a student wanting to start off should also be able to do so without any much of inconvenience or much of outside help. Sure, your friends and family are going to be your first source of investments, but then it's important to keep it as low as possible so that you pay them back as soon as possible and start sustaining yourself as well. So one thing we do a lot at Easy Daftar, and my whole team has been trained to do the same, is if you see here, there's something we follow as a motto. We don't compete against competition. We compete against the value of a workstation. When in our spaces, our work doesn't end when you sign that agreement and pay off the invoice. It only begins there. So we don't focus on what the cost of a workstation is. You'll go into the market and you'll get a chair and a table. It will cost you 2,000, 3,000 rupees maybe. 4,000 if you go in for a slightly better one. Point is, why would you come to our spaces? You come to our spaces because of the convenience we give you. You come because of the value you get, which would maybe take it to a 40% or a 60% premium on top of that as a return. In that case, your cost goes way down. And that's what we try to do. That today we are very friendly within our spaces and we're very prompt to connect. So what we do is we ask everyone when they step in to connect with us as a first point of contact for any connections. You require something to be done, you require someone to be connected with, you require anything under the roof, we're able to connect you. And we're able to connect you prompt. So that's something that we always focus on. It's enabled us to scale up. Growth was not planned for me. Coming to one more thing as I spoke of. We didn't plan growth. We started off with Salt Lake with a 4-year plan of recouping our investment. 6 months down the line, 8 months down the line, we realized that people were coming in and asking for a central location. And we did not want to disappoint. So in actually expanding, we took 3 steps back on our route towards recovering our investment. but irrespective. The point is that it was required, it was a necessity, people demanded it. So we once again tried to move out of our comfort zone, and while not being ready for it, we tried to cater to it. It worked out. There may be a situation where someone tries to expand and it may not work out. So that is what I say, pacing the startup is very important. You will know that. Once you take a step, within about a few months, you'll know whether it's bringing you the desired results or not. If not, try to plug that as early as you can to damage or to restrict your losses. And if it's working out, don't be scared to take it further. And you'll understand what is the growth rate at which you're going and what is working out for you. So keep it in a comfortable zone. Don't be over experimental and don't be too conservative either. So it's gonna help you to make it a sustainable product over the time. One more thing that we do is we try to focus on positive churn. Now, as being in co-working, a lot of it happens every month that people will leave, people will join. Across the brand, we try to ensure that that churn is positive. It helps us stay motivated. It helps us realize that we're doing it right. We're doing it. The time that we see the negative churn, even for a month or two back to back, we immediately go back to the meeting board to see where is it that we're lacking. Is it that we're lacking in service? Is it quality? Is it whatever it is? We start to address that and try to find the reason. So keep troubleshooting. Like it should be a small game. Keep playing with yourself in your mind. Keep assessing yourself. Are you doing this? Are you doing that? 3 months back, I had this cash flow. I had this business. I had this size of ticket as a business. Today, it's not there. Why is it not there? Try 10 things. Law of average says it will work out. The two that works out, better that then the next time round. Quality is the one thing I always swear by. Simply because there have been lots and lots of times we have a clear management policy of not negotiating. So because of that, we've lost a lot of accounts also, I admit. But one thing I never compromise and my team will never compromise on is the quality. Because if not today, tomorrow you're going to get a return on it. So make that your best friend and try to stick to that. Because trust me, there'll be a lot of people providing substandard services. You don't want to be one of them. Because somewhere down the line, the client is going to get fed up and it's better to have a client go away now rather than go away after a few months saying that our service is not regarded. Why do you want that? So that, and today's time, I don't think anyone wants a negative review on Google or Facebook. I mean, the more of that, the more chances that you're not going to get an SEO positioning well enough. So stay clear of that. Keep your qualities up. Don't compromise on that one thing. Teamwork. Making the right team is very important. It took us after starting up, a year to get our basic team in place. And it's been a further year now. And I pride myself on the fact that we've retained each and every member who has joined us. So we're not one who like to change up, unless of course someone wishes to leave, but we've not had that touch so far. So the more, because a lot goes into training the team, a lot goes into getting them ready to do what they are required to do at a certain level of expectation. Value that. Value your investment, value their time, value their effort. Polish it. I have not taken the best of people in the market. I have taken people at, you could say, at a starting level, at a fresher level. And we made a wonderful team today. As I speak today, in fact, we are also participating in the marketing expo at Hotel Sun International. A lot of you might know of that. I'm not there since about the past 2 hours. My team is taking care of everything. Simply because I have the safe knowledge that I don't need to check on them. So I've invested that time and effort to train them and I value that. So try to do that. It'll take time to build a team, but once you have it in place, try to get them to collectively benefit as much as possible. That was pretty much on how eChai started out and scaled up. And there have been, we've seen a lot of journeys. We've seen a lot of clients come. We've seen a lot of clients go. We've seen big corporate houses come and go as well. One thing which we've always seen is that business never stops. So you might fail tomorrow. Don't take that in a way that it's never going to work out. Simply because the show has to go on. And if you have another idea, take a while off, get everything back into place, put your plans in place, and do start out again. Because you might fail once, you might fail twice. I'm sure the third or the fourth time you'll definitely grab it again. So that's all from me. Thank you for listening. Any questions, I'll be very, very happy to take. So,
Is there is there any option for wind agreement and wind receipt?
So with us, we provide full flexibility. So there is no minimum term usage. There are no lock-in periods. You can simply give a 30-day notice period after your 1 month deposit adjustment.
This is regarding the trade license and GST. We are pretty much required.
So as I said, we're a startup which understands the needs of startups. We've got we pride ourselves on the fact that we've got products to cover every requirement. So if you have a registration requirement, there are certain parameters for that, and we have a team which dedicatedly takes care of about 20 plus accounts across the 3 outlets, centralized at one location. You'll be able to get your trade license, as well as register your company, as well as get a GST registration, as well as get any other registration you may require. Anyone else, please?
Sir,
Please call me Saahil.
so there is another co-working space for smart work. So how do you differentiate your offerings from them?
See, SmartWorks and us started about a few, I think, days or maybe a month apart. And in fact, both of us got covered together by the Telegraph last June. They play in a higher segment, offering corporates and blue chip companies the chance to get spaces. We, on the other hand, cater to the masses more. So our pricing is in a sub 5,000 segment. Their pricing is in above 5,000 segment. So the product they sell, the space that they sell, the type of agreements that they do are very different to us. We have total flexibility. We don't have lock-in periods. We have 1 month deposits, and there are a lot of differences in our service to theirs. I mean, it's not to belittle their service, but everyone has a certain segment. For example, Regus. So they actually directly compete with Regus. We don't compete with Regus or SmartWorks. Yeah, we do. Let me I can hear you.
You said you are a startup.
Right.
In your initial days, were you bootstrapping or you were funded?
We're bootstrapped to the date.
If you are bootstrapped, I would like to know how did you market yourself? Like even I have a startup, I'm in a bootstrap stage. I have a very low budget to market myself because I have to pay salaries to 9 employees. I have to provide work to 47 other people who are working on behalf of my company. So how do I market my startup more? Like I'm able to market, but I have got a very small budget.
I understand. So I'll tell you, when I was starting out, I went to a company which is called Zero Budget Advertising. Okay, so I consulted them on how to start up and what to start off marketing as. Taking it close to literal, that it's not going to cost me too much. That wasn't the case. So you never find marketing which is very well cost effective. So that's when after a lot of research I just went in for digital marketing to start with. Digital marketing and Facebook ads and Google AdWords and SEO. SEO took about 6-7 months for us to get. Today if you search co-working in Calcutta, you'll find easy stuff on the first page, by the way. So that took about 7-8 months to get there. Previously we started out at the 7th or the 8th page of Google. So we use AdWords that time. And the rest we banked a lot on when people would come. So I always tell my team that we have 2 minutes of a prospective client's time to convert. Because it's that 2 minutes that is going to leave a lasting impression or a doing impression. So what we try to do is that our marketing is focused on getting a client to the doorstep. After that, the responsibility of conversion is at my team's responsibility, not the social media marketing. So, but yeah, you should try digital marketing. I think it's the most cost effective. We've tried a couple of options, none have been as cost effective as possible. And again, you'll have to always in every line compete with the big wigs in the line. So what I started out doing was that my budget of marketing, say if you have 10,000 rupees per month, okay, I tilted it 90% for social media, so that I may not be able to compete with the likes of Regus when I start out. Even today I can't, I'm sure, in there. It's got much deeper pockets. But I made sure that an ad is shown up not just in Kolkata, if you're searching sitting in any of the tier 1 and tier 2 cities in India, if you search for co-working Kolkata, easy the adverts will show up. So that's one place where I thought that you may find a lot of outstation startups also looking to expand to Calcutta. And we did. So that was one of the things that worked for us and it continues to date.
How do you price your infrastructure cost seat basis or room basis?
So we have different products. So depending on your team size, we can give you a section for 1 person, 2 person, up to 10
Anything
people.
for solo entrepreneurs?
Of course. Of course. We have open areas where you have single workstations. Then there are private cabins which seat from 3 people to 10 people. 3, 4, 5, 10, depending on that. And we have multiple such cabins in each outlet.
So the price you said 5,000, is it for only for the seat or anything else?
No, we provide end-to-end product. There's no segregation. Your service, your internet, your e-coffee, your printing, your parking, your usage, network, your community, access to events, you name it and it's there. Printouts, everything. It's all included. Not even 5,000. Our prices start actually at 3,870 plus GST.
For something?
Okay. 5,000 is for cost.
I have the card.
What's the average period of engagement of a customer? For example, if a customer has a co-working space with you, how long does it stay?
We've got clients who are 2-year-old with us also, 1-year-old as well, and 2-month-old as well, who have joined. So all in all, we have an average of about, you can say 8 months, 9 months at least. Thank you very much. I wouldn't like to keep the other speakers waiting too long. You don't need them to get them annoyed with me. Thank you for being a wonderful audience. I'll take up any more questions in the networking time.
Thank you, Saahil. As what he said, he's going to be around. You can ask him questions then. Let's not limit our other speakers' time. So in the meanwhile, would like to call upon Hari. He's going to take up the next session. And after Hari's session, we will be collecting the puzzle sheet. So whoever has it, will be coming by then. So over to you.
Thank you. It's going to be difficult for me to use the mic because I want to use the phone. Can I just have a show of hands? How many of you are startups? How many of you are students? How many of you are on a growth stage, startup but are growing? So I'm going to share with you whatever little I know. I'm a blind man, and I know all of you who are doing startups, you are also blind. So I'm just going to share with you what I see as a blind man, because the first thing I want to ask you is, what is a startup? What is a startup? Let's all get very clear in terms of the definition of a startup. So what is a startup? Yes. Beautiful.
So when you are entering into a business mode, when you're starting a new business on your own self, without taking help of your ancestors or any other family.
Okay, it's not right. Yeah.
It's a business of implementing innovative ideas.
Business of implementing innovative ideas. Okay, somewhere we are like, what is anybody else?
Sir, when you are entering the market with some innovative ideas and standardizing the standard of living in the society.
Not there. Yes.
Startup is more of a culture than actual the business format. We always call it, startup culture. There are, few specific things which,
No. Yes.
giving some open solution.
Huh?
Startup is like finding the gap where there is a gap in the market and maximizing your strength to wherever there is.
Almost there, but still not there.
Startup is first identifying a problem, creating a business around that problem, and creating solutions around it with your business into it. So that is how you.
See, this is the real problem of startups. Actually, startups are human institutions which operate in an environment of uncertainty. The uncertainty is what you forget. You talk about everything, problem, solution, this, that, and other thing. But the most important thing about the startup is you're operating in a situation which is absolutely uncertain. Do you all agree? Anybody who has done a startup will know. You don't know what is going to happen the next moment, right? That is the startup. So first is get your idea about what is a startup, right? The most important thing, the most exciting thing about being a startup is you don't know what's going to happen in the next moment. You live in absolute uncertainty, which means you live on the edge, which means you are doing rock climbing. Any moment you can fall, trip, and you're lost, right? That is the fun of being a startup. So people who have the guts to enjoy that type of a fun, they are the right people to do startups. Do you all agree? There's a lot of fun in doing that. Now, until you do that, you will not understand. It's like I cannot explain how nice it is to taste honey. You have to taste honey in order to understand how nice it is. So that's the beauty of a startup. So I think everybody must do a startup in order to just experience this uncertainty and the thrill behind this uncertainty. Okay? Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take, if possible, I'm going to take Saahil's business and I'm going to blow it up a little and tell you, as an investor or as a business, how we would look at that and what needs to be done in order to, make it bigger, better, and things like that. Is it okay with you, sir? Okay. Before that, I would just like to run you through some stories. Okay. Can you just go? Yeah. Can you just move the slide for me? Yeah. So, what are the reasons of startup failure? 9 out of 10 startups fail. So, which means if there are 20 startups here, right?
We would have seen.
Huh?
We would have seen.
So I think only 1 or 2 are going to make it. Everybody else is going to die, right? Now, what is the reason? There has been, I've been an entrepreneur for almost 32 years. Started when there was no market, and I always have failed several times, succeeded also. But in the last 7-8 years, I've been more of an angel investor. I call myself a startup farmer because I actually grow startups. So I have realized that there is no way by which you can determine what is the right steps to do a startup and how can you take it forward. For example, if I know I want to grow potato, this is the way I need to grow potatoes. Is there a way like that to do startups? There is no way, but still we have found a method to this madness. So my idea or my realization after almost 25-30 years of being an entrepreneur is there is a way by which you should fail. And if you fail a number of times, there is a good chance that you will succeed. There are very few people who get it right in the first time. Very, very few people. So let us look at what are the reasons why startups fail. Most people build products for which there is no market. Somebody is sitting in a room, has got a great idea, and he thinks, wow, this is a great idea. I am going to become the next Bill Gates. And he starts writing and writing and writing and writing, and he builds a huge animal. And when the animal is ready after 3 or 4 years, he comes and says, sir, funding nahi mil raha, sir. Can I get funding? Sir, market is very bad, sir. I don't know why people don't invest in my product. I have done 4 years of work. We are such a big team. I have spent so much of money. I don't have anything now, but I am not getting funding. So this is a very common story which you hear from, most Indian entrepreneurs, primarily because they have not been guided properly, right? So today what I am going to tell you is, even for existing startups, just go back, sit and analyze what you have been doing, whether you are doing the right thing or not, or is there a better way of doing things, right? Another reason why most people think that the team is very important. How many of you think that the team is the most important thing for a startup? Yes, team is important. But team is not the critical success factor for a startup. Team is important when you start. The most important determinant of a startup success is the market. So if you, for example, today if you build the greatest artificial intelligence software in OS 2, nobody is going to buy it. Your product is great, exciting, fantastic, but there is no market. Why? Because OS 2 is no longer used, right? So it's very important for you to understand that market is something which is continuously moving, And the market determines who is the winner or the loser, not your product or not your team, right? So we also have seen that almost 30% of startups shut down because they run out of cash. So that's there are startups which are doing well, but which have to shut down because they have run out of cash. Are you understanding? Okay. Next. So let's look at what are the reasons why startups succeed. So one of the top, or these are the top 5 factors, but the most important thing is timing. So you have to be at the right place at the right time. You know, you hear this several times from several people. You know, he's very lucky. He was at the right place at the right time and he made it. Right? There are many people who are at the right place at the right time and who still don't make it. There are many people who are at the wrong place at the right time but still make it. So all these possible combinations are there. Execution plays a very important role. Execution. So there is a great idea, there is a good product, but you know, companies have not been able to make it. There is a bad product, but there is fantastic execution. You know, unofficially I want to say, at one point of time, Microsoft was such a company. Every day they give you 20, 30, you know, patches. You know, which company gives you an update every, you know, hour? So, but it was great marketing. You know, their execution was super, but the product was not that very good. But still, they were the #1 software company in those years. You all agree? So, there are many other things. You know, if you go to do analysis, you know, no one size doesn't fit all. You know, you have to look at a specific case, and then you have to see what are the factors which actually have helped the startup fail or succeed. Next, please. So if you look at investors, you know, people like me who put money into startups, taking a huge risk and expecting a big reward, you know, 90% of our investments go down the drain. So if you put money in 20 startups, you know, most of them are write-offs. 1 or 2 are the ones which actually, you know, give you your capital back. So this is a very recent, you know, analysis. So it shows that 4 out of 100 actually do more than 10 times. You understand what I'm saying? 4 out of 10, which means if I put 1 lakh rupees, there is a good chance that I'll get 10 lakhs or 20 lakh rupees only in 4 out of 100 cases. So you have to now understand this animal called as an investor, right? Investors are very bad, you know, they really don't invest. You know, my product was so good, my presentation was so good, I have shown that I am doing business, but they did not invest. So that's a feeling we all get, right? Now, do you understand now why investors won't invest money into startups? Because they get a lot of such, you know, projects to invest, but they only invest in projects which can give them a substantial return, because most of the other investments are likely to fail. Okay? So, this is a beautiful slide. You know, I really like this slide. You know, to see, these are some of the most talked about companies in India, and these are their revenues and losses. So, shall I just let you know, Flipkart in 2017 March, 19,854 crores of turnover, 8,771 crores of loss. Sounds good? Big Basket, 1,090 crores of revenue, 191 crores of loss. So when Big Basket can be invested with 191 crores of loss, why don't we get invested? Our loss is only 50 lakhs. Right? Many of you feel like this? And you must be feeling, why? Who are these investors? Why are they throwing money? How can a company, you know, let's look at some companies. You know, with the revenue of 125 crores making a loss of 364 crores, are these investors crazy? Oyo, one of the best brands. We talk about Ritesh and you know what fantastic things he has done. Right? So if you see, this is the state of startups in India. You all agree? Or have you seen this? Or has somebody told you about this? Now, what does this mean?
We'll pay off later.
Huh?
We'll pay off later.
How many of this you think will pay off later?
As you said, 2 out of 2.
Right? So we don't expect. No, see, once an investor commits big money, the investor has to protect it, right? The investor has to find a way out because the investor is locked. So the investor has to find a way out in terms of how to take out their money or how to protect their capital. So that's a challenge for the investors. And it's good to have those type of situations as well, right? So today we are talking about a $12 billion valuation for a Flipkart by a Walmart. You know, when this company is probably, I think Flipkart is now 24,000 crores with, of course, higher losses. And, you know, they are getting a multiple of almost 3 times their sales. 3 times sales for a loss-making company is the valuation, right? Now, as a startup, it's very important for you to think like this, which means you really need to look at building big businesses. So until there is a big business, there is a growth potential, and there is a growth engine, you know, you will not get investors' attention. So today, worldwide, the best of funds with billions of dollars are all, you know, lining up to invest in India. So, are you one of those guys, you know, who's going to get funded? Yes.
How big is big? Because see, everyone cannot go into that big league. But
No, I am not saying, we are talking about startups, right? You can be a lifestyle company, right? You are doing business, slowly scaling up, growing with your own money, you know, growing with retail earnings. All businesses, most businesses are like that. But startups are businesses which can explode, which means they can create a nuclear explosion in revenues or in customer acquisition. So when you say you are a startup, you really need to look at identifying a potential or a market which has got a huge potential for customer acquisition and for revenues. Though it may take 5 years or 10 years or 7 years to get there. Are you with me? So all of you now need to look at your business. Do you want to be a startup or you want to be a lifestyle business? Or you want to be a business which is organically growing? So if you want to be a business which is organically growing, you know, work on other things, you know, build your margins, build your profit, and slowly grow. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the best way to do it. Bootstrapping from customers' money, right? But unfortunately, today the world is in a hurry. Everybody is in a hurry. Everybody wants to become a billionaire overnight. That's not possible. But you want wings. You want people to support you. And the smart entrepreneurs are people who are addicted to doing business with other people's money. Please don't laugh. You see, you talk about these most successful entrepreneurs. They always do business with other people's money because they don't have any. You take Elon Musk, right? He had to borrow money to pay rent after selling his company for a few $100 million, right? But they love doing this. Why? Because, you know, there is an uncertainty, and in that uncertainty, you know, it is a great feeling to get an investor to back you up who believes in your vision, a team member who believes in your vision and comes and works for you for no salary. We have so many crazy people like this all over the world, and you are seeing one of them. Okay, the next one. So this is something which caught my eye. You know, I was very impressed with this company a couple of years ago. Have you heard about this company called Furlenco? Furlenco, anybody heard? Yes. It's a beautiful company. You know, they give you furniture on hire, and most of their furniture are so well made. You know, I fell in love with their concept. I ordered furniture when I was in Pune, you know, setting up for somebody else. And I said, you know, why don't you do this in Calcutta? I'll give you a lot of customers. They said, no, Calcutta is not in our radar right now, so we have to go to Pune and this and that. I was very happy with the quality of their design, the quality of their service. Anytime you want, you can just call and say, please change my furniture, they'll do that, right? And you can just go for a 3-month contract, which means you don't have long-term contracts. And in India, the rental market is just booming. right? Co-working space, computer rent, anything on rent, bike on rent. I think only a few other things. Human beings are still not, mother on rent, father on rent has not started, but I'm sure that, that will also be available after some time because we have got maids on rent or maids on demand, buy on demand, something like that, it's there in some city. So, I was just shocked when I saw their numbers. So you see this company has tripled their revenues in 2017 from about 7 crores of revenue to 21 crores, and their losses from 20 crores went up to 50 crores. Will you put your money into this company? If you had money, will you put your money into this company? Honestly, tell me honestly. No, everybody should say no. Is there anybody who will say yes?
I would consider looking at their vision or the prospect, what you say, management quality and future prospect in terms of customer base and business they may have. Looking at that, they may have. But I cannot be sure that I will put, but there may be a.
So what is that? It is a growth. Growth is it might have.
It's very, very good that you pointed this out. Yes, please.
I would like to know when will it break even? I would like at a point of time the revenue is going to suffice so much that my loss is going to be like zero, and then
That is what all investors want to know. That's what happens in every board meeting.
we see through the
Founders, typically, I attend so many of them. Founders say, this quarter we have really done well. We have cut our losses by 20%. But your job is to actually make profits, right? No, in new businesses it takes time. So I'm not, criticizing or I'm not taking a position against such business models. So one thing is, it has taken them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and in 5 years they have just lost about 100 crores, right? And the total amount of investment is 120 plus another 100. About 250 crores has been put into the company. About 100 crores on debt, and the balance 150 crores as equity. So 250 crores in, 100 crores out as loss. Balance is all lying in capex, and maybe they have some working capital in there, right? Now, how many of you have the stomach to think and work on these numbers? Can you manage a loss of 100 crores? Can you think about a revenue of 100 crores in 5 years? If you cannot think about those type of numbers, it may not happen. But if you cannot think about those type of numbers, you can do your business, but you cannot expect external funding. Are you with me? Right? So that is one of the problems which I see with most startup entrepreneurs. They expect that the day they start, somebody will come and write a check for them. But we do write checks for such people as well. So why do we write? That's a question you should ask, right? And that is what I'm here to tell you. What you need to do such that you can look at that type of a vision. There's nothing wrong in dreaming. There's nothing wrong about thinking. Does it cost money? So when you're thinking about a 10 lakh business, why can't you think about a 10 crore or $10 million business? What is stopping you from that? Nothing. So in order to, I just broke my head and I saw that the total amount of losses there, if you take the total losses which have been made by the Indian startups in the ecosystem in the last 4-5 years, it would run to something like 30,000-40,000 crores. Are you with me? Which means in the last 5 years, the Indian startup ecosystem has lost 30,000-40,000 crores. Is there no way by which 20% of that could have been saved? Or was it the most optimal way of losing? I don't think that is right, because most of the companies have made terrible mistakes and they have lost money, they have blown money, and that is what makes me think that there has to be a method to this madness. We really need to know how to build businesses without losing so much money. Yes, it takes time, but you really need to build business without losing so much money. That is when the concept of the lean model or the lean startup, started coming. Not now in this. I'm now absolutely deep into lean models, which means even if it's a large company who've got budgets, they really need to think lean. So all of you need to be lean startups. If you really want to do well, you need to use some particular methods by which you should be able to validate what you are doing, and then you should have both value as well as growth. Both these things should be possible to be done in the startup for you to actually become a startup in the real sense. Are you with me? Am I making sense? Okay. So now, see, there are 3-4 people who have actually done this work, and this work has started only in 2013 or so, right? So we are very early stage, and Gartner has projected that by 2020, most of the large companies will start using lean models, right? Now, we've had so much of, I would say, theory, or I've just talked about what is happening in the Indian marketplace. Now let us look at what are the key factors and how you should look at your startup, how you should look at your problem, how you should look at your customer, and what should you do in order to ensure that whatever you're doing is the best way of failing or discovering. So another definition of a startup is continuously trying to discover its business model. So coming to a business model, I just take a little from what Saahil had explained about his business, and I will try to just put that in a pictorial form which all of you can participate. Okay? So a lean model typically talks like this. The first thing is, who is the customer, or what are the customer segments? So who are his customer segments?
Requiring space.
The masses.
Masses? Who said masses? Masses don't require co-working space.
Entrepreneurs with about 1 lakh turnover.
Huh?
Entrepreneurs with about 1 lakh to 1 lakh, 5 lakh turnover.
How do you determine that 1 lakh to 5 lakh? On what basis are you saying?
Turnover.
Yes, on what basis are you saying? Why should a person who has got 1 lakh or 5 lakhs turnover, why should he require an office?
To maintain the communication, entertain clients.
Today you use a mobile phone to shit, you use a mobile phone to shop, you use a mobile phone to do everything, right? Even when you are sleeping, you have a mobile phone with you, right? So you just need a mobile phone, that's good enough.
In India, you need interaction.
Everywhere we need interaction. That interaction takes place in a number of ways. I have a mobile phone, I'll come and see you, I'll call you, fix some time, go and see you, no problems. Who are the customer segments?
Freelancers. Freelancers.
Yes. Who said freelancers? Yes. Very good. So freelancers require a workplace. I'm a very good freelancer. I do design, I do creatives and things like that. But I cannot work from my home. My home doesn't give me that ambience. Plus, I want client meetings. I want to sit with clients, understand what is their requirement. I want a peaceful place where I can go and sit and produce very peacefully without any disturbance. Right? Who else? Come on, you guys are all startup guys, you should be very fast.
Company with low budget. Company with a low budget.
SMEs, we can say SMEs. Okay. Who else? Startups. Startups can be customers. Who else?
Professionals.
Yes, professionals. Who else?
When you say customer segment, any startup, whatever product that startup offers, and whoever can use it, basically the users are the customer segment. It's like a market, right? Target market.
Yes, what you're saying is right, but in this hall, not everybody is his customer.
Yeah, true. every business or startup.
So what you typically do is, it is very important for you to understand who is the customer who is going to pay money to get there as quickly as possible. Who's got a pressing need for this requirement, right? So you touched on a very important point. I'll come to the next aspect here. So I would say, okay, let's squeeze on these 4 customer segments. The next most important thing to understand is what is the value prop or value proposition. You understand what I'm saying? Value proposition typically has, you got a painkiller, I've got pain, you got a painkiller, I come to you and buy the painkiller. Right? Otherwise, you have something for me to gain, which means I get something, you got a lollipop, I'll come and take the lollipop. So for that, I'm, got a value proposition. Most of these Ponzi schemes are all lollipop type of schemes. You go there because you get something more, right? So you're gaining, right? The other thing is, you've got routine tasks, and those routine tasks you just don't want to waste your time. You want to give it to somebody. Oh, the way your mother would get a house made to run the house, right? So there are regular jobs which are required for which you will get somebody. So your value proposition has to be one of the 3 only, or it could be a combination of all the 3. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you, as a startup, has to have a value proposition, and your customer typically is looking for a value proposition in the area of pain, gain, or in terms of automating routine tasks, right? So what is the value proposition that you've got?
Office space.
So that is a pain, right? Finding an office very quickly, doing all the documentation, paying such a high rent or something like that. That's a big pain. Then getting an internet connection, getting a phone connection, getting this, that, getting somebody to clean your office. So that's a big headache. That's not your core competence. That's not why you need a startup, right? You don't want to waste time in doing all that. So, okay, I want to plug and play service. So that is the value proposition that he's got, which means pay as you go, on demand. I require 1 seat to start. Next month I get a contract. I want to get another person, so 2 people, and then 3rd month, my contract is over, so I reduce it to 1. So it's a value proposition. Yes or no? But if I go and rent a place, 11 months contract, and then I take a space, and next month business goes down, right? I still have to pay that. So that is a value proposition, right? Anything else?
Low cost.
Low cost. Low cost is comparatively, compared to competition, is at a low cost, right? That is this value proposition. Fine.
Value-added services networking.
Value-added services. Yes.
And network.
Yes.
Working environment.
Yes. Yes. So there is a value proposition in the offering, isn't it? Right? All of you agree? So you've got a customer segment which has got a need, and you've got a value proposition which is provided by this business. So what is stopping? So you have to understand that there are 2 factors which are very important for a startup. One is a value driver, and the other is a growth driver. So if you've got 3 centers, how would these 3 centers become 3,000 centers? Right? That is what is going to give you the growth. And how fast is it going to become 3,000 centers? For example, if you look at WeWork, I think WeWork's total rental commitment, which is the largest in the world, its total rental commitment for a year is $16.1 billion. It's a co-working space. Unimaginable numbers. Right? So, how can he get there? Will it be possible for you to scale to 3,000 centers? In how much time? What do you require for that? When will they break even? These are the critical questions which would be asked. At what point of time, you will say that yes, you have arrived, which means you've got the critical mass. So he's a startup, no doubt about it. But for this startup to really become a startup, in the sense with the large numbers, what is required is what is required? Huh? Yes, even if he gets 3,000 crores, he will not be able to get to 3,000 centers in 1 year. It is not about getting or creating 3,000 centers. It's about getting those centers, working to those standards, and getting occupied also. Right? There was a Rajnikant movie, where Rajnikant's father, writes a will saying that if my son comes back, he should spend a few crores in 1 month. It's something like that. Even, he had a lot of difficulty in spending so much money because, people wouldn't take. So, please understand what I'm trying to tell you. So, as a startup, he has put this whole value proposition together, and all of you have agreed that he's got a very compelling value proposition, right? Now, how do you get customers to buy this value proposition? Am I asking a very tricky question? It's a very simple question.
First, they need to be aware about the existence of the
Yes. Okay.
Then, according to their needs, they will, like, if they need it, then they will approach it.
So, on what basis? For example, he is come to an investor, or his father is the investor, or mother is the investor, whoever it is. So, on what basis will he predict that I am going to have 80% occupancy in all the seats that I have created? Can you predict?
Yes.
Yes? Who said yes? Who said yes? I want to look at that person.
Probably he would have to do a market analysis before starting the whole thing, so that he would know the numbers.
He has to do a market analysis
before starting the whole thing.
before starting the whole thing.
Market research.
Market research.
He needs to realize what he's selling. He's not selling an office space, he's not selling a real estate, he's selling a solution.
Yes.
To package it as a solution for each of these audiences, for freelancer, for SME, for startup.
He's doing that. He's doing that.
That will be the value.
No, he's doing that. What I'm saying is he's got all these things that all of you have talked about as a value proposition. He's got all the value proposition in place. He's bundling everything and giving it to his customer segments.
The market sensitization he has to do.
Market?
Sensitization.
What is market sensitization?
He has to build the mindset of the market so that the other part who is not ready, he has to make the mindset of the mass to
Mindset of the mass.
awareness, market awareness. Exactly.
Market awareness.
Basically, customers sometimes do not know they have a problem. So they need to feel that you have a problem. And the solution. Because in 300 centers, if you take 1,000 customers in a center, so that means 30,000 customers.
I have 300,000 customers. Yes.
300,000.
300,000. 300,000. Yes.
Now there are in the market, I think 3 lakh freelancers are available in the metro cities, including all. But there you will see so many small offices, one-room offices in Dallas area and all. But they have a problem. They don't know that they might have a better infrastructure. So you have to aggressively target those market access.
So you think that he alone can go and get 300,000 customers? How much time it's going to take for him to do that? Right?
Maybe 100,000.
So normally whoever has been in sales, we normally ask, okay, what is the conversion rate? Right? So typically in sales, what is the conversion rate you would look at? Come on, startups, you are selling. First thing you need to do is, learn to sell. Huh?
5%.
Okay, very good, 5%. So if he has to sell to 300,000 customers, so he needs to do into 20, right? That type of
5% is for e-commerce, I think. In this case, it should be higher. Yes. If you market need is there.
So as I told you, all of us are blind, and we are trying to lead this gentleman. Say, come with me, I tell you. So somebody says 5%, somebody says 30%, somebody says 1%, right? What are we talking? So we don't have any real data on which we can rely. Yes, you wanted to say something.
I just want to say that he's to focus on where he's like, there's a busy area where there is lack of space and there is demand there. People want to set up their office there, but it's very costly. So he can put a co-worker space.
By the way, what do you do?
I'm a professional company secretary. Presently, I'm working in the Raj Friends office. I work.
I never knew company secretaries were so business oriented. Very good answer. Yes, you're right. Location is very important, right? Wherever there is demand for space, there if he's got a place, then what happens? There is supply and there is demand. So the supply gets filled up. If the demand is more, the supply gets filled up very quickly, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
So the location is very important. And typically, if he has to go into each of these customer segments, each of these customer segments deals with their vendors in a particular way. For example, an SME, the way you would market to an SME will be very different than the way you would market to a freelancer. The way you would approach a freelancer will be very different. The channels that you will use to approach a freelancer will be very different. Okay? The way you will approach a student, there are many PhD students who need to write their dissertation or do some discussions, they require place. Right? So, the way you need to approach them will be very different. Which means what? He's got customer segments, and in these customer segments, there is something called as a customer channel. For example, if you want to start a newspaper, right? Who is going to pay your bills? Advertisers. So who is going to get it free? Your reader, your consumer is going to get it free. And because the consumer is coming, you entice the advertiser, right? So a newspaper will not go to every single individual and start selling. So they say just take it. And they will build a readership. And then because of the readership, advertisers will come and put in money, right? So in this particular case, each one has got a different channel. For example, the NASCOM 10,000 startup or PayU, UpStart, is a channel for him to actually position and market. He gets a lot of startups like you. Maybe 2 of you will sign up because you are looking for space and he's got a great value. And because you came to the event, he may throw in a discount also. For 3 months, 10% off. Right? Why are you laughing? It's a fact. I will do it if I were it. I'll say at the end of my thing, anybody who wants to sign up today, take this coupon, and within 7 days this coupon will be valid, you get 10% off. Right? So every channel he needs to start working with a relationship. He has to build a relationship, he has to maintain that relationship, and through that channel he can communicate to the customers who are associated with that channel. Right?
What you are saying is making sense also, because in spite of the need, sometimes people prolong their requirement just for the reason of having a higher charges. I mean, if they get a discount, then they immediately book it.
Sir, if you have a very, very excruciating stomach pain,
Yes.
are you going to sit here and talk to us? Or are you going to run to a doctor? Right? So, the most important thing is to understand what is your value proposition and whether that value proposition will be immediately accepted by a customer. Right? So, it is important for you to solve problems which are absolutely very painful to a customer. So, unless you have a painful problem for a customer, for which you have a solution, a customer is not going to give you his time or mindset or attention and part with money in order to save the problem. So most of the startups, the biggest mistake is, what is the biggest mistake? You do not identify a problem which is a very burning problem for a customer segment. So now let us look at space as a burning problem, right? An SME is already operating. It's an existing SME, 5 years, 10 years track record or 3 years track record, right? For them, space is not a burning problem, right? So they will take more time to design. except for exception where they are expanding to another city, they want a space, right? For a freelancer, the freelancer is anyway freelancing, he's not a new freelancer. So for him also it's not a burning problem. So for whom is space a burning problem?
Professionals.
Anybody who is starting up, is wanting to start a new business, wanting to do something on their own, want a space, right? So amongst all these customer segments, there is one customer segment where the requirement is very critical and urgent in comparison to the others, right? So he is only one man when he started, right? He didn't have a team, he didn't have anything, he just had this idea. So which customer segment will he focus on? Can he go and focus on all these customer segments? So typically, when you ask startups founders, who is your customer? So, sir, everybody. So anybody can use our product. Do you make this? Have you heard these answers?
Yes.
Right? So anybody can buy our product. Sir, anybody can use our software. Yes, that is true. Anybody can use your software is hypothetical, right? But in real sense, who is going to use your software? Only somebody who's got a pressing need for that. So you have to do your customer development first before you do anything with your product. You understand what I'm saying? Which means you have to go out of the building. As the Black says, he says, and you would have heard in many places, please submit your business plan, we'll look at your funding requirements, right? The first thing you need to understand is no business plan survives the first contact with the customer. Do you understand what I'm saying? A business plan is a 20-30 page document, right? And you create it with lot of consultants, lot of financial, analysis and things like that. The first customer comes, the business plan just evaporates. It doesn't stay at all. Am I making sense? How many of you written a business plan? Yes. Tailors, have you written a business plan?
Not exactly a plan, we just sent one sheet of paper with a model now.
Business planning is very important, but business plan is not important. Please understand. Because a business plan is a big document, right? It says this. But what happens is when you go to a customer, the customer requirements have changed. When you plan and when you go, the customer requirement itself has changed. So that business plan needs iteration. How quickly can you do a 60-page business plan iteration? It's not possible. By the time you iterate, the customer's requirements have changed. Again, you iterate, customer's requirements have changed. Right? So the basic thing which I want to say is, you require to identify problems which are very pressing problems for customers, or you need to create. See, people buy for two reasons: pleasure and pain. Right? So tell me, what do you buy for pleasure? What do you buy for pleasure?
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
Depends.
Huh?
That depends.
What is it? Depends.
One thing can be pleasant for me, but it can be a necessity.
No, I'm talking about you. You are my customer, right? So I need to know, why will you give me money? One is, I'm going to give you something which is going to give you, for example, buying an Apple iPhone is a pleasure.
Whatever is leisure for me, whatever.
No, it gives you a sense of feeling, owning something very precious. You're willing to pay top dollars. People stand in queue to buy an iPhone overnight. Yes? Why?
Those are luxury products. So
Status.
brands.
Yes, it gives you a sense of
I
status.
own something which is out
Yes.
of the box.
So at that time you are willing to pay, you are willing to fight with your father, you are willing to fight with your wife, you are willing to fight with anybody to get that status. Right? So people buy out of pleasure because it gives you pleasure, it gives you a great satisfaction, right? So any product needs to look at either pain or pleasure. Right? How important it is for the customer is what you need to first discover. And to which customer it is important is what you need to discover. Without discovering that, don't go and build your product. What will happen is you will build something, you will take it to market, and then you will fall in love with your product, but the customer is not accepting it. I can see a lot of people smiling. right? Because you are able to realize that you fall in love with your product. Whereas what you need to do is you need to fall in love with the customer's problem. So most startups, you are no exception. Like most startups make this mistake, and they learn it the hard way. They learn it after 2 to 3 years. After starting after starting the startup, doing all the hard work, and then realizing something which could have been realized on day one. So, I typically would like to tell any startup that, assume that you have already failed. Failed means what? You've got a product, you've designed a product, and you've taken it to a customer base. That customer base, for them, it is a good to have product. It's not a need to have product. Are you with me? So if you have a good to have product, what happens is you really need to push to sell, and that selling is uphill task. That's when we say, oh, advertise. Our customer acquisition cost is 150 rupees. So you put money, customers come, take the freebie, go away. Again, if you don't put money, customers will not come. So there are so many business models you have seen, right? Where the moment you put money, customers come, they take the whatever goodies are offered and they go away. And next time you are expecting the customer to come on its own, he doesn't come. Because again you have to put money, then only the customer will come. So that type of sales is of no use. Am I making sense?
Yes.
So my first advice to every startup, wherever I go, is please look at your business model. Business models can succeed. Business plans will not. Customer's problem, if you fall in love with the customer's problem, you will succeed. But if you fall in love with your product, you will fail. Take it from me. So I meet many startup entrepreneurs all the time. One is in person, the other one is through LinkedIn or through any of the social media or through events. And majority of them are absolutely in love with their own product. They think, sir, our product is the best product. You look at that competition product, it cannot do this, it cannot do that, it cannot do this, right? But why don't, why are we not getting funded, or, what is happening? So the most important thing for you to understand is, fall in love with the customer's problem and not with the product. Because the product has to continuously change in order to address the customer's requirement. Okay, now I just want to, how much time do they have?
Another 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Okay, I would go on and on, which means I can do another 3 to 4 hours of absolute talking sense with practical experience, but I won't do that. I just want to take, for his business, if he comes to us with this type of a problem, with this type of, let's say, a business model, where there is a value proposition, there is a customer segment, right? Only thing is we don't know how many customers he will be able to acquire in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, or whatever it is. What is the chance of this getting funded? Right?
High chance.
High chance? Very, very little chance of this getting funded.
Why?
Yes, you answer me why. You answer me why. I don't mean anything, against his business model. I'm just telling you from my experience and my, my assessment. In this model, it is very difficult to get funding.
So, but he is.
When I say funding, please understand what I'm saying. See, funding also has got many connotations because I have many such cases like that as well. So there are companies which get seed funding. After seed funding, they have to go to the next round of funding. The next round of funding is not coming. But somehow they raise a bridge here and there. And after that, what? They're not able to get their funding. So it is not about funding for one round or for the seed stage or the angel stage. It's about funding through the entire cycle of your growth. So I'm not talking about the fact that he's not going to get funding for this business model at all. Yes, he may get angel funding, he may get another funding, but until and unless you put nothing less than $1 to $5 million in a business, which means in India, until unless we put in about 10 to 50 crores into a business, we cannot look at an exit of 200 to 250 crores. Please understand what I'm saying. So if your business requires 50 lakhs and is very satisfied with 50 lakhs, your business is not fundable. Please understand what I'm saying. So your business requires more and more money because you are expanding the market, you are expanding your capability, you are becoming a market leader. That is where you will start getting traction in terms of funding. So when I say funding, it means funding all the way. See, Flipkart was struggling for funding, FD was struggling for funding, but ultimately they got funded, yes or no? Yes. Why? Because people had already put in $300, $400 million into the company. So they had to save it. So they had to find a way out. Right? And the investors helped in finding a way out. So in his case, anybody else has got any comments on this? In terms of, yes?
So the resource that is chosen is land, which is limited.
The resource?
That is chosen is land, which is limited. The demand for that will be restricted. If I get one working space, I'll try to work on that working space only rather getting new working spaces. But if there's some eatable or some garments, I'm going to get it for every 1 month, every 2 months. So
No, that's a consumable business. This is not a consumable business. It's a service business, right? Yes.
Scalability is the issue.
Yes. Scalability is the issue. Yes. What do you
have
want to
had the same thing with the consumer segment. Is they don't have that kind of financial ability or stability. They haven't reached that stability in order to sustain the value proposition. For
say?
instance,
Which the customer segment?
yes, sir. Because for instance, freelancing, they might be there, they might not be there. The segment that they have.
See, in UK.
Considering Calcutta.
No. In UK, there was a lot of real estate. There are many shared services like this. There, if you sign a contract, first year is free.
Okay.
Right? So who would not take that contract? And if there is a break clause, you cannot break.
So that's
Which
a
means-
value proposition that they.
No, that's a pricing strategy. That's not a value proposition. That's a pricing strategy so that you get comfortable that 2 years you have locked in, first year you don't have to pay.
But this value proposition gives you an easy exit.
Yes. Yes.
So that's what. So that these people that we've identified, like freelancers, startups, they might do well. If they do well, then it's good.
No, I don't have a problem whether they do well or not do well, right? If they do well, I'll be more happy because.
But if they don't do well, they won't be requiring the land. They won't be
No.
requiring
I have got a capacity here, right? So every facility that I've got a capacity. Once the capacity is fulfilled, my revenue is flat there. Yes or no?
Yes.
So I've got 20 seats blocked for 12 months. So I'm done. Right? So I have to again look at scaling. When I look at scaling, I really need to create additional capex. So next month what happens is there is a huge tsunami in the startup business. So everybody has gone away. So now I'm sitting with a big office with so many seats and no takers. Right? So there are those type of risks as well. So the biggest challenge for an entrepreneur is to look at all the risks and to mitigate them as early as possible such that the risk profile is very clearly defined. Okay? Okay, so now I am his consultant. So he comes and says, sir, what should we do? How should we scale? Or, how can we do it? Right? I tell him, see, I've got a great idea. The idea is very good, but you must be able to implement it. Yes, sir, बताइए क्या है idea? If you know, most fine dining restaurants are absolutely not used. Bars, pubs, they are not used during the daytime. Right? Similarly, there are plenty of places which are very jazzily done up, which are not used during the time when professionals need that workspace. Right? I tell him, why don't you just brand, Easy Daftar and put a board in all these places. Do a deal with all these eating places so that they get more occupancy during the day when they are actually not selling liquor, but they may be selling tea or coffee or something and they get revenue. And you actually can take some ownership without paying rent. Right? Create free Wi-Fi there so that their customers can get free Wi-Fi. You create a situation where any of your members can go and use any place on a pay-as-you-go basis. Is that possible to do? How many places can you get in Calcutta? In Calcutta itself, you have more than 500 such locations. Where I can create a co-working space without.
3,000 restaurants.
I'm not talking about all the 3,000. I'm saying if I look at the entire area where business people go or freelancers go or whatever it is, universities, So I'll create a co-branded space called Easy Daftar. I go there, I get Wi-Fi like a lightning. I can walk in, walk out of any place because I've got a smart card or some way of access. I've got a user ID password. I go in there and I get a place to sit. I get a place to do my meetings. So if I have a space in, let's say, one of his centers in Salt Lake, I have a meeting of a customer or some recruitment I'm doing which is in South Calcutta, right? I have to go and use that center. Or if it's in Bada Bazaar, I have to go. Or in Howrah, I have to go, right? There I don't have this facility, right? Whereas here, if I am able to create a network and I am able to show that I am able to execute it, acquire these places at no cost, and provide a large number of footfalls into those places, anybody coming in, it will become a habit and people will start using it. And is there any competition? No competition. What is required? Technology you build, pay as you go, no membership, nothing, just come and pay, take a voucher and just get in, get out. So if we can do this business model, yes, there is a possibility for funding because he's building a brand and he's scaling up very fast. And he can take it to Bhubaneswar, he can take it to Guwahati, everywhere he can go very quickly. Does he have the execution team for that? Does he have the marketing strength for that? Can he do that? Okay, what does it require? Okay, he requires to hire 10 people. Okay, this much money is required, give it. Are you getting my point? So the same value proposition, the business model is changed, becomes a fundable proposition which can scale. I'm not, please don't.
Not at all. So free of cost idea. Free of cost idea.
I like it. Challenge to many people.
What I'm saying is, like this, every business model we can find goals and we can see how we can tweak it around so that it becomes a compelling value proposition. And that is what I do. Because I want to save that loss by speaking sense to you. Because most of you are PIP headed. You don't listen. Because you want to now say that no, until I taste honey, I will not understand the taste of honey. So I want to taste honey. I want to taste all these things. I don't want to buy your thing, which is to win. And that is what most entrepreneurs tend to do. Entrepreneurs who listen to this, zoom. There is a huge transformation which takes place. You cannot imagine. So my target now is, in the next 4 years, I am looking at creating at least one unicorn from India, from my portfolio. So I want to see people who got that large vision, who can think that they can build a 20,000, 30,000 crore global business, so that even if I have 1%, I create sufficient value for everybody. Okay. My time is over. Otherwise, I could go on and on and on because I like talking to people who are doing it because I don't want you to make mistakes. Thank you. Any questions? Any questions?
He will be sharing his contact with you guys.
Contact very simple. Very simple. You can find me out.
And he's around. He's around. He's not going away. So before we start the next session, we would like to collect the puzzle sheets from all of you.
So, very good evening to all of you. First of all, I am glad to the organizers to give me this opportunity to interact with all of you and give my experience, share my experience and idea about the subject. I restrict my presentation on formation of the right entity, compliance area, accounting and the taxation, and the other laws which are applicable to you. But before that, I think all of you have a very great insight out of the session of Saahil and Hari sir, isn't it? Isn't it? Right. So can we have a big round of applause for them? So before I start my presentation, let me ask all of you, how many of you have already formed an entity for your startup? Can we show your hand, please? Okay, very few. And how many of you have already decided about the structure of your entity which you are going to form? Very few. What about others? Are you not a startup or are you not looking at the formation of the entity? Anyone? So, those who have formed it, I think you have raised your hand, right? So, what's the structure of the entity?
No, it is private limited.
It's a private limited. So, can you share what were the points based on which you decided to form a private limited entity for your startup? Or for say, if anybody else has formed the LLP, can you share the pointers based on which you decided to form an LLP for your startup? Any idea?
Actually, I Googled it out and I find out that the best way to start is by going for an LLP because it's cost effective. Because if you go for a privately limited entity, then there are many more things that you need to work on. There are fixed costs that you need to work on. But for LLP, it's just a partnership where you need to go that can cost you not more than 1,000 or 2,000 bucks. So LLP is the best way that I found it through.
Okay, great. What about you, sir?
I have deliberated a lot between LLP and private limited, but my startup basically I wanted to operate it into the government segment. I've been working in government consulting and implementation, IT implementation area. So in government, what I see is a lot of tenders which comes. They are still not aware about LLP legality and all because many times they say that they want private limited company. So I will be actually not able to participate on those cases. So that's one of the reasons I thought to go for those compliances and extra expenses and all, so that I would have that option to go for those standards and opportunities.
So this is very surprising that based on the finding at Google, you have formed an LLP, or based on just one reason that you will not be able to get the government tenders, which I think they have started very recently. You have formed a private limited company. Don't you think there are many more points which, based on which you should take this decision, because it's a big decision based on which your startup success may affect, isn't it? Let's look into what are the various forms of entity which you can form. There are proprietorship, partnership, LLP, private limited, one-person company, and public limited company. But the real challenge is to decide about which entity is suitable to you or which structure is suitable to you. Now, out of my experiences as a chartered accountant dealing with so many startups, to me, startup is anyone who is starting up, right? So, I have noted few points which help me to decide which structure is suitable to you. Some of them are number of co-founders, initial capital requirement, initial gestation period, startup India recognition. What is your objective for the business? Is the objective is valuation, or is it profitability, or both? Taxation, cost of formation and recurring compliances, recognition by third party, segregation of management with ownership, chances of liability in business, and exit route. Let's deal one by one, each one of them. Number of founders. If you have only one founder, you can go with sole proprietorship. You cannot form a partnership. You cannot form a private limited, right? Though one person company is allowed, but it is very less prevalent in the market. Initial capital requirement. Few years back, there were initial capital requirement of at least 1 lakh rupees for a private limited company. Now this provision has been deleted. Now you can form a private limited company even with a minimum capital of 10,000 rupees itself. Initial gestation period. If the product or services in which you are going to deal with need longer gestation period, I would suggest to go for a proprietorship or a partnership structure because the initial cost involvement is less. Initial cost of compliance will be less, and once your product is established, you can convert it into the LLP or the private limited later on. But if the initial gestation period is short, say suppose 3 months, you started a product which is very well acceptable in the market. In 3 months' time or 6 months' time, you are going to get a funding for that. Then obviously you are left with no choice but to start with LLP or private limited. Startup recognition. How many of you are aware of this? Startup recognition. What is that? What is that?
The government of India has that provision. Based on the proposal and business plan, they have the startup registration process.
Right. So government of India has taken this initiative to recognize the startup. If you get the registration, what is the benefit? The benefit is you get the taxation relaxation. Your IP can be registered at a lesser cost. You will get assistance in the funding and many more. So if you want a registration, and in any case, if your startup is recognized by the government, don't you think it's a credible point? It is. So if you want to get the startup recognition, you are left with no choice, but you have to have either a registered partnership or an LLP or a private limited. You cannot have any other model. Then the objective from your business. If the business objective is valuation, private limited is a suitable structure. First preferred, then the LLP. If the business objective is profitability, then the point of consideration will be what is the best taxation benefit structure available to us. If it is a mix, then you have to decide trade-off between the LLP and the private limited. Taxation. In case of proprietorship, you are taxed on the slab rate, right? In the slab in which you are falling, based on that you have to pay the tax. In case of partnership and LLP, the tax rates are 30%. Whereas in case of private limited, it is 25%. So private limited is looking lucrative, right? But then, if you want to distribute the post-tax profit to the founders, then in case of private limited, you have to pay an additional tax of dividend distribution tax, which is around 20%. Comparing that, if you go to the LLP, the post-tax profit you can distribute without any further taxes. Cost of formation and compliances, I don't need to say anything here because all of you are aware about it. Recognition by third party, what is it? At times you need funding. You go to bank to assist you in the initial funding, may be possible. So when you go to bank, you submit your document. But generally what banks look into is the third party through which they can get your details. So in case of private limited and LLP, the bank can get the details from ROC and the documents which they get from the third party, they rely on that most. So there are chances of getting the assistance from the outsiders. Then the management and ownership. You want the investor to come to assist you, help you, support you. But at the same time, you don't want to give the management right to the investor. How can you do that? If it is a partnership business, if he becomes a partner, he has all the right to he has all the right to have say in the management of your startup. But if it is a private limited, to a certain extent, you can restrict the management. Though the ownership is shared. Chances of liability. There are many laws which are applicable to your startup. There are direct laws, there are indirect laws. And generally, government liabilities occurs after 3-4 years when you start your business. And you are not aware of which law will be going to applicable to you. If suppose some liability has incurred on you, has arisen to you, and it is a partnership or a proprietorship business, then you are personally liable to meet those liabilities. Your personal assets may get affected because of that. However, in case of LLP and a private limited, your liability is restricted to the extent of your capital contribution to the private limited or the LLP. I think the last one is not visible here, the exit route, which I believe is the most important to consider before forming any particular company.
I just want to make one point, if you allow me. Please say anybody, can you get next slide? Anybody who wants external funding, right? All these three you can forget. Anybody who is working on IP, intellectual property, right? All these things you should forget. So it has to be only the private limited company in order to keep it simple. Why? Because I have seen many cases where an LLP was formed, there is some IP in the company. Now they want investment. At the time, converting that LLP to a private limited company, it's a nightmare. So it is best anybody who wants external funding, start a private limited company. Though it costs more, compliance is more, headache is more. That headache is nothing compared to the customer problem that you're going to solve.
So,
Thank you, sir.
so one question.
Yeah.
So what's the reason behind it? When we solve the problem, what's the reason? Why not the LLP gets funded?
He has given the reason also. He has given the reason also for the not forming the LLP.
See, investors would buy shares or they would buy instruments, convertible instruments. LLP and all,
Because then the angel funding will come through equity dilution.
So thank you, sir. And the last one is exit route. So when you start your business, you are so engrossed with the product development or the marketing or the penetration of the product in the market. And after 2-3 years, you get to know that the product is not acceptable to the market and you want to exit. You have made enough losses, you don't have further fund to invest into and there is no one to fund you. And you want to exit. Now, if you have a private limited, then the exit route is little difficult, little longer, and costly also. Whereas in case of proprietorship partnership LLP, the winding up process is simpler, easier. So based on this decision matrix, you can decide which one is suitable to you. There is not a single formula through which you can say that this is applicable to you, but based on all these pointers, you can decide which one is applicable to you and you can go ahead with that. With this, let's move to the next topic, that is on compliance. But before getting into this, I want all of you to see this video.
Look at his face.
So, what is the learning from this video?
No,
Anyone?
no overconfidence.
No
no
over
early
confidence.
celebration.
Don't celebrate before you actually win.
That is the title of the video. You know this, I think. What else? Any other language? What? Can you share the joke with me?
Look behind you.
What else?
Fight and again fight. In the last video.
But I have a different perspective from this video. My point is, it doesn't matter how hard you work. It doesn't matter how focused you are with your work. But a simple mistake and you are out of the race, right? And that is where most of the startups are making mistake, that is compliance. There is a survey done by Tax Mantra. It says every second startup gets income tax notice or tax demands for non-compliance. 3 out of 7 startups find place in the defaulter list of ROC, list of companies where you register your LLP or the private limited due to non-compliance. 2 out of 4 startups incur unnecessary payout by way of interest and penalties. And 7 out of 10 startups shut down their business within 3 years of the operation. Don't you think it is surprising? So compliance is a very important aspect which you should take care of. When we talk about accounting, do you think accounting is a choice to you? Do you think accounting is a choice to you? I'm asking a question. Do you think? No. Why no?
Because compliance.
How will I get to know what I want and what I
It is statutory.
So in order to understand the importance of accounting, you have to understand what if accounting is not done properly. Then you will get to know what will happen with you. Let's look into this. Non-maintenance have many repercussions. First is statutory requirement. There are laws which want you to keep your accounts at least for 10 years. For the last 10 years, if you are entered into any transaction, they can ask for the supporting and the details for this transaction at any point of time. And you are duty bound to provide that. If you do not provide, there are penalties, there are interest and other liabilities. Possibilities of dispute. You are 3, 4 co-founders who started a startup. You are doing well, product is very good, it is well accepted in the market, you are earning good revenue. After 5 years, the total it is, say suppose 50 crore, and there is no idea that how much belongs to whom. And the dispute has started. Chances of higher government liabilities. There is something called best judgment assessment. When you are asked to provide the details of the accounts and you are not able to provide, the government authorities has the right to assess your liability based on the best of your judgment. And friends, in past 17 years, I have not seen a single case in which their best judgment is on a lower side. It is always on a very higher side. So you can understand whatever you have earned will be taken away by them. You will lose money which is hard earned. You have developed a product or a services. You have done a lot of research on that, done a lot of marketing, lot of hard work. The product is well accepted by the market. You have a lot of orders, you have supplied well, but you do not have proper accounts. You don't know who are your debtors, how much is your debtors. You don't know. At the same time, you don't know what is the level of creditors you have. So, those who are the creditors, they will definitely come and take money from you. But क्या आपको लगता है कोई भी डेटर आकर के आपको बोलेगा भैया आपको मेरे से पैसा देना ले लो? Have you ever seen that? Not possible. It is you who have to follow up with the debtors that this money is due from you. Funding is a big challenge. As I said, if you go for funding and there is something called due diligence. Before funding, the venture capitalist get the due diligence done of your startup. And one of the point of consideration is also your accounting and the financial parameters. If the accounting is not done properly, there are chances that the funding will not be available to you. Profitability and cash flow. If the accounts are not properly maintained, will you be able to ever find out what is the true profitability? Because profit is not just the cost of the product and the sales price. There are administrative costs, there are other costs which are also involved which you have to account for. And once you account for everything, then you will get to know what is your true profitability. Whether you are getting the cash flow in your books of accounts or not, or you are just selling and there is no money flowing into the startup. These are few reasons because of which the accounting is very important for you, for the success of your startup. Let's move to taxation. I'm sure all of you have some or other chartered accountant or the professional tax advisors who is advising you on various taxation aspects. But let me tell you, if you enter into one transaction and after the transaction is done, you go to your chartered accountant and then he says that you have done so much of non-compliances and your penalties and prosecutions will be this. Will it be of any use to you? Let me ask a simple question. You are a new startup. Today you have to make a payment of 50,000 rupees to your website developer. And you are running short of money. What will you do? You will go to one of your family member or your friend, will ask him to lend you money, 50,000 rupees, so that you can pay to the developer. This is I think everyone faces this challenge, right? Now your friend has given you 50,000 rupees in cash, and you have made the payment of this 50,000 rupees to the website developer in cash. It's a simple transaction. Your friend has given you 50,000 rupees in cash as loan, and you have made the payment of this 50,000 rupees in cash to your website developer. Now, in this simple transaction, what you have done? Number one, you are not allowed to accept loan in cash in excess of 20,000 rupees. Penalty as high as the amount of loan. Number two, you are not allowed to make payment of any expenses in excess of 10,000 rupees in cash. Penalty is the expense will not be allowed in your books and you have to pay tax on that. What else? If you buy any asset out of cash, then you will not get the depreciation. Why am I sharing this? Because as a founder, you should have a basic understanding of certain points so that before entering into transaction, you can protect yourself from the penalties, prosecution, interest. More interestingly, you have paid 50,000 rupees to your website developer. There are certain payments in which case the government asks you to deduct tax before you make the payment. Like if you have made a payment for rent, or if you want to make a payment for commission, for professional services like payment to the website developer, or if you are into a service contract with someone for which you have to make a payment for services. Friends, you are required to deduct tax before the payment is made and deposit it with the government. If you do not do so, then penalty, prosecution, interest, tax तो लगेगा, चारों चीज आएगी. So you can understand, startup ऐसे ही पैसे के लिए परेशान है और ऊपर से उसको चार चीज और देनी पड़ेगी. What will be the scenario? Again, the product in which you are getting into, you must know whether the GST is applicable on that or not. If it is applicable, whether it is within the threshold limit, you are within the threshold limit, or the registration applicability has arises, whether you have taken the registration, whether you are filing your returns, GST return or the income tax returns on time. It is just a tick mark. You can assign someone to look into those aspects. But unless you know about it, you cannot say anyone in your team to look after this, right? This allows for non-payment of statutory liabilities. You have raised the bill on your client. you have charged GST from him, you have collected GST but failed to remit it to the government. That GST will be treated as income in your hand and you have to pay tax on that. So tax on tax, possible. Angel tax, much talk about topic. Any idea about what is angel tax? Being a startup, you should know about the angel tax. अभी तो सब जगह चला हुआ है. So give you in a very simpler form. Angel tax is what? You have received money against issue of shares. Or for example, there is an investor who has given you 5 crore rupees as an equity funding in your company at a valuation of, say, suppose 1000 rupees per share. Whereas, as per the fair market value which is defined in the Act, your company's fair market value is 100 rupees. So there is a gap of 900 rupees. Your fair market value is 100 and the money which you have got is 1000 rupees per share. This 900 rupees, is it your income? Is it your income? Is it your income? No. But government says that this is your income. And you are subject to 30% taxation on that. Now you have raised 5 crore rupees on certain projection that it will help me in doing this marketing and product development, software development and all. Out of this 30% is taken away by the government, then again you are looking after the new investor to give you further money. The point here is, if you are aware of what is the angel tax, before raising the funding, you can protect yourself, you can plan accordingly so that a tax can be minimized or reduced basically. Last one is unexplained cash credit. This is very interesting. I'm sure nobody has heard about it. Any idea about? No. What happens? At times we receive money through NEFT, through RTGS, through Paytm, through other apps, right? For which we do not have the trail of the person who is providing you the money. You have sold some services, you have given some services, the person has transferred you money. If in an environment where the masses are your customer, then it is practically difficult to find out who has given you the NEFT. You don't know, you have just put it in your books of accounts that I have received 5,000 rupees, that's it. Government is asking you, who has given you this 5,000 rupees? You don't have any idea. It is treated as unexplained cash credit in your books and which is subject to as high as 87.5% of tax. So, see, what you have to do is make sure that whatever money which you are receiving, you have the knowledge about who is sending you this money and what is the purpose of this money. These small steps can help you reduce your cost of compliances, cost of penalties, or interest or prosecution also at times. This is about taxation. Let's move to the other laws. There is a survey conducted by Inventors Capital which says that regulation uncertainty is the biggest challenge for most of the users looking forward to do business in India. Facebook's acquisition of Bangalore-based Little Eye Labs was way more complicated than Facebook taking over WhatsApp because of the regulatory discrepancies in India. Let's look into the Ola and Uber example. The day Ola and Uber started working in India, there was no regulation relating to app-based cab services. One case happened in Delhi and everyone started shouting. Media turmoil, regulators have started asking to shut down all the cab operators. But Ola and Uber has survived because of their deep pockets. Do you think in such scenario, any of the investors will bail you out? Will you get the funding in such scenario? No, and that is what has happened with taxi for sure. They were doing well at that time. but they were not able to raise further funding, and that is why they had to sell themselves off to Ola at a very low price. So, what is the way out? How do you save yourself from this? I think if you consider these three questions before entering into the venture, there are greater possibilities that you will reduce these issues in your startup. First is, have you researched enough about the laws that govern the market where you operate? Do you have the idea about the laws which govern your product? Second is, if there are no direct laws, have you studied the laws that apply to the industry that comes closest to you? Is there any similar product? Similar services? What are the laws governing those services or products? Do you have someone who understands the government policies and who can go to the department or the ministry to find out whether any law is applicable to you so that you can handle the challenges? If you work on these three questions, I am sure many of your issues will be taken care of. Let's understand the regulations. Well, there are three types of regulations. Regulations that tells you things you must do, like obtaining licenses, trade license, registration, shop establishment registration, formation of company and all, approvals, right? There are regulations that tells you things you are not allowed to do. You are not allowed to deal into the illegal activities. Are you? No. You are not allowed to deal into the narcotics, drugs and all. Right? And there are regulations that tells you how to do certain things. How to compute your taxes. How to keep your accounts. How to manufacture any particular thing. There are regulations like Drug Control Act, which regulate the drugs, the healthcare business basically. We can further classify it into two categories. Category one is law, which are applicable to all, irrespective of the structure or the industry you belongs to. Like in Calcutta, if you form a company or a partnership or a proprietorship, the first thing you have to take is trade license, then the shop establishment, then you have to get your income tax PAN number and the GST registration and all. These are applicable to all, irrespective of your structure or the industry you belongs to, predominant. And there are laws which are structure specific and the industry specific. Right? For example, if you have formed a company, then the company law is applicable to you. If you form an LLP, then the LLP Act is applicable to you. If you form a partnership Act is applicable to you. If you are into healthcare business, the Drug Control Act is applicable to you, like that. But the real challenge is how to know about that. How to know what all laws are applicable to you. Where is the place where from I can get to know about what are the laws which are applicable to my product or services? Any idea?
MSME facilitation centers.
Huh?
MSME facilitation centers.
Good. That is one of the hotels. So before you enter into the venture, you should note down all these points and what are the laws which are applicable to you and what are the possible areas where from you get this idea. Some of the places where from you can get all this is you can hire professionals, they have a fair idea about the laws applicable to your products. You can inquire with people already dealing in similar products or services. You can attend industry specific workshop or conferences, you get a lot of ideas about the product and services and the regulatory involvement. Nowadays, everything is available on website. There are regulators' website. You can go to the regulators' website. You can find out whether your product is falling under their regulation or not. Last but not the least, this is very important that every product or every services fall under any particular industry specific, right? And every industry has some or other association everywhere in all the cities. You can visit to the office bearers of this association. They have all the details of what all laws are applicable to their industry And at one place, you will get all the details about the laws which are going to be applicable to you. Friends, this is all about the presentation on all the 4 topics. If you have any question, you can ask. Criteria for the 20 lakh rupees is the limit. Up to 20 lakh rupees, GST registration is not applicable. Beyond 20 lakh, you have to apply for GST registration and you have to charge GST and submit it to the office. There are certain products on which GST is not applicable. Yeah. Zero GST fine, if the product is such that GST is not applicable on that, you don't need to file the GST return.
We have to file that. It will be a need.
No, it depends. There are exempt, there are zero rated, there are tax rated GST. So based on the type of structure you are falling into, you have to comply accordingly. Yes. Yes, that is not structure specific, that is product specific.
So I have a proprietorship firm.
Yes.
I do not have a GST till now. My clients wants a GST prepared bill. How do I explain them that I do not have to?
So you have to tell them that you are not liable to take the GST registration as your turnover is less than 20 lakh. If required, you can give them in writing that my current year turnover is less than 20 lakh rupees, and as such, my GST requirement is not there. GST registration requirement is not there.
But they say that you have to write them the invoice and everything.
Yes.
Is that like we have to write some kind of?
Yes.
So, can you please give the section which?
I don't remember the section right now.
No, not that one. That 20 lakhs and 20,000 and 10.
Oh, income tax. The 20,000 limit for the 269 SS and 269 D in the income tax for the loans and advances, and 10,000 is 40 A, capital A, under bracket 3.
So I also heard about LLC.
LLC is not applicable in India. It is in US and all.
I think, sir, I have an observation. I think for intellectual property rights, it's one of the important segment for a startup. I think an IP lawyer, like I didn't see that featured in your presentation.
I covered it in my startup recognition points, basically.
For a startup, an IP is really important.
Very important.
For example, when you spoke about private limited, it's very important for a trademark. For example, trademark. You do a trademark registration or copyright registration. It is very preferred if you go for a private limited because you get an extra advantage in terms if you do a copyright, because since a company is a separate legal entity, you don't have to renew. For a copyright, the renewal is for 60 years or beyond. So if you do a copyright on your logo or on your trademark, you don't have to spend money on renewal each 10 years or etc. So IP is one of the important segment that a startup should focus on, because IP also attracts a lot of funding. Further, IP is not only about protection or about maintenance of IP. You can also monetize your IP. In order, if you see your IP is doing really well in the market, you can sell your IP. You can sell your intellectual property rights, which means your trademark, your copyright. Or if your invention is a process, you can sell it in the market to the required person for a valuation.
Right. So basically, I have not covered any specific act in my presentation, though I have covered the slightest part of IP into the startup recognition, basically. Any other question relating to compliance, tax system, accounting, and all? Yes.
What is the penalty if the TDS is not deducted by my customers? Like if I'm running a partnership firm.
TDS, you have not deducted or
my client?
your client has not deducted? there is no penalty on you. The penalty will be on the person who is supposed to deduct the
Because
TDS.
I'm giving the entire bill on the credit part only. I'm raising my bill. He's crediting the amount in my.
Understood. The TDS non-compliance penalty is on the person who is supposed to deduct the TDS. If suppose you are providing services to me and I am supposed to make the payment to you, I have to deduct the TDS. If I do not deduct TDS, then I have to pay the tax, the penalty, the interest, and also it is liable for prosecution. At times the department launches the prosecution. Anything else? So thank you very much. Yeah. Yes.
One last question.
So I suppose I have a startup. I was already doing business. Now, when GST was not active, so my business already has a tax credit also. I was doing business now, and now my turnover has exceeded 20 lakhs, and now I'm going to take GST.
So if it is a new business and you are not taking GST registration for the reason that earlier your turnover were less than 20 lakh rupees, till the time all those credit were ineligible for your future carry forward. If it is an existing business, then the GST has come into the picture and you have any outstanding credit available as on 1st July 2017, right? Then you can carry forward that payment. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Raj. So before we close, we have the puzzle winners, Siddhant, Sahu, Manas, last number is 250. Okay. Debashish, Jigar. Oh, Jigar. There's one. There's somebody putting their hands up. Riten. Okay, if you could just stand so that we can just. A round of applause. So thank you everyone for coming today on a Saturday and spending your valuable time and being such an interactive audience. We never thought that when we came to a new city we would have such an amazing response. Thank you so much for believing in us and making us believe in you guys as well. So this pushes us to keep on doing sessions like this. And a very special thank you to all of our speakers. Thank you so much for coming today. So if you all are looking for a payment gateway, you know who to reach out to. We are happy to help you out. And we are now opening the session to networking. As promised, all of the speakers are still here. And the rolls and the soft drinks are on the outside. You can please help yourselves. Thank you.